Imagine standing at a crossroads, knowing the path you choose will shape the rest of your life. One road is clear, the other clouded with uncertainty, but you hesitate. Imagine making a decision today with full confidence, only to second-guess yourself tomorrow, over and over again. Imagine how different your life would feel if you could decide once and never look back. Imagine the peace that would come from that kind of certainty, how quiet the mind would become. Imagine how many sleepless nights and restless mornings could be avoided if you simply trusted yourself. Have you ever asked yourself, why do I keep changing my mind? Or, why does fear always visit me after I've made a choice? Have you noticed how indecision slowly drains your energy, your clarity, and even your joy? These questions are more than emotional. They're deeply human. And for those in the later chapters of life, these doubts can become louder, especially when the stakes seem higher and time feels shorter. Let's take a simple example. You decide not to respond to someone who treated you unfairly. But then the mind starts spinning. Was that the right thing to do? Should I say something instead? Hours pass, and suddenly the peace of your decision is gone. You feel trapped in a loop again. Welcome to Wisdom Woven, the space for reflection, clarity, and growth. If this message speaks to you, then this journey is yours. Like the calm after a storm, this series will gently help you step into a stronger, steadier version of yourself through the timeless wisdom of Buddhism. So please, like this video if it resonates with you, share it with someone who might need it, subscribe to our channel for more soulful guidance, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters here. Now, what does Buddhism really teach about decision-making? At its core, it teaches that the restless mind is not to be obeyed. Buddha said, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. When we change our decisions again and again, we are letting our mind drag us like a leaf in the wind. But when we observe the mind and let clarity rise through stillness, we choose not from fear, but from truth. This path is not about being rigid. It's about being clear. And when clarity comes from awareness, not anxiety, decisions no longer need to be changed. You'll learn, step by step, how Buddhist thought gently trains the mind to hold still, to see through confusion and stay with what is right. The more we understand this, the more peace we carry. This is just the beginning. The mind is a restless traveler. It never stays in one place for long. One moment it is calm, and the next, it spins stories that pull us in different directions. This is how doubt enters our hearts. Doubt is like a shadow. It follows the mind wherever it goes, whispering uncertainties. You make a decision, but the shadow asks, "Are you sure?" And you start to question yourself again. Many people suffer because they trust the shadow more than their inner light. The mind tells them many stories. What if you are wrong? What if there's a better choice? What if you miss something important? These thoughts look like warnings, but often they're traps. They distract you from the present moment. They keep you from living fully with your choice. In Buddhism, we learn to watch the mind like a calm lake watches the sky. When the wind blows, the water ripples. But beneath the surface, the lake remains still. Your true self is like that still water. The ripples are the thoughts, the doubts, and the fears. They come and go. They do not change the deep calm inside you. Why does the mind trick us so? Because it is afraid. It wants to keep us safe. It wants to avoid pain and failure. Changing decisions again and again is a way the mind tries to protect us from making mistakes. But this protection comes at a cost. When the mind is full of doubt, it loses strength and peace. The trick of the mind is to make us believe that certainty comes from thinking more, from weighing every option endlessly. But true certainty does not come from endless thought. It comes from deep knowing, from being present with what is. It comes from trusting your heart and your awareness. Imagine a small child learning to walk. The child stumbles many times, but does not doubt the next step. The child simply tries again. The child is not afraid to fall. The child's mind is not filled with endless questions. There is trust in the process of moving forward. This is the natural state of the mind before doubt enters. As we grow older, experience and fear build up layers over that natural trust. We begin to doubt ourselves. We want to avoid mistakes, so we hesitate. We hesitate so much that we freeze. The Zen path asks us to return to that childlike trust. Not to be careless, but to be present and courageous. When you notice your mind spinning stories of doubt, do not fight it. Do not judge yourself for doubting. Simply observe. See the doubt as a cloud passing in the sky. It does not belong to you. You are the sky, vast, clear, and still beneath the clouds. With practice, this observing becomes easier. You learn that thoughts are just thoughts. They do not have the power to control you unless you give it to them. This awareness is called mindfulness. Mindfulness is the seed of freedom from doubt. Doubt will still come. That is part of the human experience. But when it comes, you smile inwardly and say, "I see you, doubt. You are not my master." Then, you return to your decision with calmness. You remind yourself that the decision was made with care and presence. Sometimes, the mind's trickery feels strong because of attachments. Attachments are the things we cling to, ideas, people, outcomes. When we are attached, we want to control everything. We want to guarantee the future. This desire creates more doubt because the future is unknown. The Buddha taught the truth of impermanence. Everything changes. When you accept impermanence, you accept that no decision is perfect or final. Yet, this does not mean decisions are meaningless. It means you choose with wisdom and release your need to control the result. This is the middle way. Not rigid, not careless, but balanced. You make your choice, and you do not cling to it as if it were the only truth. You hold your decision lightly, like a bird resting on your hand, ready to let it fly if needed, but trusting it for now. Changing a decision is natural sometimes. But when changing happens from fear or confusion, it causes suffering. When it happens from wisdom and compassion, it brings growth. The difference lies in the clarity of your mind and the honesty with yourself. The mind loves stories. It creates fears, doubts, hopes, and dreams. To never change a decision again means to see through these stories and rest in what is true. It means to bring the light of awareness to the mind shadows. You do not need to push the doubt away. You do not need to run from it. You need to understand it. Doubt is a teacher if you listen. It shows you where your mind is weak, where your trust is hidden. When you sit quietly in meditation, you begin to hear this teacher. You see the patterns of doubt, the old habits that pull you from your path. And you learn to meet these moments with kindness to your mind, to your heart. In this way, the Buddhist way does not promise that doubt will disappear forever. It promises that you will not be enslaved by doubt. You will learn to walk with doubt as a companion, not an enemy. The mind's trickery is a challenge for all who seek peace. But it is not an obstacle. It is part of the path. Each time you notice the mind's games, you gain strength. Each time you return to your decision with calm, you build a foundation of trust within yourself. This trust is the beginning of freedom. Freedom from fear, from hesitation, from endless questioning. When your mind is free, your heart is free. Remember, the Zen master does not command certainty. The Zen master invites you to see the nature of your mind, to watch it with gentle eyes and open heart. Through this seeing, you become the master of your decisions. In the stillness of your being, you find a power that no doubt can shake. You find a peace that no changing wind can move. This is the wisdom of the Buddha and the path of Zen. To live fully with your choices, not because the mind says so, but because your whole being knows. So, when doubt returns, greet it as an old friend and choose again. Not because you fear being wrong, but because you trust the unfolding journey of your life. In the quiet stillness of the morning, before the world awakens, the mind often stirs with questions. These questions sometimes cloud the clarity of our heart. Why do we hesitate so often? Why do we return to doubt, even after making a choice? Why is the path of decision so tangled and difficult to walk? These are not small matters. These questions reach to the roots of our very being. You see, the mind is like a garden, and in that garden, seeds of many kinds have been planted over countless days, months, years, and even lifetimes. These seeds are the karmic patterns, actions and intentions from the past that shape the present moment. Some seeds grow into flowers of wisdom and peace, while others grow into weeds of confusion and hesitation. When indecision takes hold, it is often the result of these hidden roots stirring beneath the surface. When a person faces a decision, the surface may seem simple, yet beneath, the karmic soil is rich and complicated. It holds the echoes of past actions, past fears, past regrets, past attachments. These echoes whisper in the mind, creating doubt and uncertainty. The more tangled the roots beneath, the more the branches above sway in the wind of indecision. This is why it is said in Buddhist teachings that understanding karma is not about punishment or reward, but about cause and effect. Every thought, every choice, every hesitation is a cause, planting seeds for the future. When we do not see clearly, when we allow the mind to be ruled by fear or desire, we water the seeds of confusion. And so, the garden grows wild. Yet, this is not a garden without hope. Karma is not fate locked in stone. It is a living, breathing law of nature. It is as fluid as the river, as changeable as the clouds. This means the roots that cause indecision can be loosened. They can be transformed. We can choose to plant new seeds of clarity, courage, and mindfulness. Imagine a man who has long lived in fear of making mistakes. Each time he hesitates, he waters the roots of doubt. His mind becomes a tangled forest, thick with branches blocking the sunlight of truth. But one day, he decides to look deeply into this forest. He sees the roots clearly, not as enemies, but as old friends asking to be understood. With gentle care, he begins to untangle them, one by one. This untangling is the work of mindfulness and insight. It requires patience. It requires courage. It requires kindness toward oneself. When the roots of fear and doubt are met with gentle awareness, they begin to lose their power. The garden changes. Clarity grows. The man no longer fears his decisions because he knows their causes and effects. He understands that hesitation is the voice of old seeds that could be replaced. Buddha taught that the mind is like a mirror. When the mirror is covered with dust, the reflection is unclear and distorted. But when the dust is wiped away, the mirror shows reality as it is. Indecision is the dust on the mirror of the mind. Karmic patterns are the layers of dust that have settled over time. Mindfulness is the gentle cloth that wipes the mirror clean. There is a story about a monk who faced great uncertainty. He was about to leave his home and become a wandering mendicant. The decision weighed heavily on him. Every day, he wrestled with doubts. Would he be strong enough? Was he doing the right thing? One evening, as the sun set and the sky glowed softly, he sat in silent meditation. He allowed the doubts to come without fighting them. He saw them clearly, like clouds passing across a bright sky. And in that moment, he understood that these doubts were not permanent. They were simply old patterns passing through. He rose the next morning with a calm heart. He took his first step on the path without hesitation. His decision was not forced, but born from understanding. This is the power of recognizing karmic roots and letting them go. When we recognize our karmic roots, we also realize the importance of our present actions. Every moment is an opportunity to plant new seeds. When you decide today with awareness, you water seeds of confidence and peace. Over time, these seeds grow strong, and the habit of indecision weakens. This is why Buddhist practice encourages us to look deeply at our thoughts and feelings, to observe without judgment. We learn to see the patterns that pull us back into doubt. With this knowledge, we can choose differently. Indecision is not a sign of weakness. It is the result of many unseen forces. When we honor these forces by understanding their origin, we are no longer victims. We become gardeners of the mind. We care for the soil and plant seeds that will bring clarity. The more we practice, the more natural it becomes to make decisions with calm and steady mind. This steady mind is not cold or unfeeling. It is warm with compassion for ourselves and others. Compassion grows when we understand the struggle behind hesitation. Life changes constantly, and so do we. The karmic seeds are not fixed in the past, but respond to the present moment. This means every decision is a chance to transform not only the future, but the very roots that cause hesitation. When you find yourself doubting, do not run away or fight. Sit quietly, observe the roots, feel their weight, their shape, and then breathe. Let go. With each breath, the grip of indecision loosens. The Zen master's teaching is simple. Do not add more confusion by resisting what is already there. Accept the roots and gently bring your awareness to them. This is how the mind finds peace and will find strength. Over time, you will notice something beautiful. Your decisions will no longer be battles. They will be moments of clarity, moments when the heart and mind meet in calm agreement. You will feel the lightness that comes from knowing that your choice is your own, not forced by fear or habit. This does not mean decisions are always easy. Sometimes the path is hard and the future uncertain. But with understanding of karmic patterns, you will stand firm like a tree with deep roots, flexible yet unshaken. Remember, the past has shaped you, but it does not control you. Your awareness today is the key to transforming yesterday's patterns. Like a gardener tending the earth, your gentle attention will bring forth the flowers of clear decision and peace. When a mind is calm, the heart is free. When the heart is free, life flows naturally. Decisions become invitations to live fully, not traps of confusion. Let these words settle in your mind like dew on the morning grass. Reflect on the karmic roots within you. Be patient with yourself. The journey is long, but every step brings you closer to unshakable peace. In this understanding, indecision loses its power. It becomes a teacher, guiding you gently back to the present moment, where the truth of your choice waits quietly, ready to be embraced. And so, the garden of your mind will bloom, not with weeds, but with the flowers of wisdom and calm. This is the path of transformation, the way of the awakened heart, the middle way of confidence, neither stubborn nor swayed. Listen carefully, friend. Life asks us to walk a path, not on the edge of cliffs, nor stuck in a deep mud, but somewhere in between. This middle way is a way of balance, a way of seeing clearly without being pushed or pulled by extremes. It is the heart of true confidence. When you make a decision, you're like a tree planted by the river. If the tree is too rigid, a strong wind will break it. If the tree is too loose, it will be uprooted. The tree that bends but does not break, that stands firm but not stubborn, this is the tree that survives and grows. So too with our decisions. Many times, people think confidence means never doubting or never changing their mind. But this is not the wisdom of the middle way. True confidence is not about being stubborn. It is not about saying, I will never change, or I am always right. That is pride, and pride makes the mind heavy and blind. Nor is true confidence about being easily swayed by every passing thought or opinion, jumping from one idea to the next like a leaf in the wind. That is fear, and fear scatters the mind like dry leaves in the storm. The middle way of confidence is the quiet voice inside you that says, I have made my decision, and I will stand by it. But I'm also open to truth, and I will change if the truth shows itself. This is not weakness, but strength. This is not confusion, but clarity. Think of a calm lake. When the wind blows, the surface ripples. But deep below, the water remains still. Your mind could be like this lake. On the surface, questions and doubts may come and go. But deep inside, there is a stillness, a place of clear knowing. In Buddhist teaching, this is called equanimity, a state where the mind is balanced, not tossed by pleasure or pain, praise or blame. When your decision comes from this place, it does not shake easily. It is steady like the mountain, but gentle like the flowing river. Why do most people lose this middle way? Because they cling too tightly to their ego's voice, the voice that wants to be right or safe. When we hold on too tight, we create tension inside. This tension grows into fear and doubt, and soon the mind is restless. It changes its decision again and again, hoping for a better feeling, but finding none. The Buddha taught us to see things as they truly are, not as we wish them to be. This means seeing our decisions clearly, with kindness and honesty. When we see clearly, our decisions become like a clear mirror, reflecting what is real, not what is imagined. To walk the middle way is to practice this clarity every day. It is to bring gentle awareness to your thoughts. When you notice the mind pulling you towards stubbornness, gently remind yourself, flexibility brings strength. When you notice the mind pulling you toward doubt, gently remind yourself, peace comes from trust. This balance is not something you gain once and keep forever. It is a practice, a daily choice, like watering a garden. Sometimes you must prune away old fears. Sometimes you must plant new seeds of courage. This is the path of the middle way. Let's remember the story of the bamboo. It bends when the wind blows hard, but it never breaks. In the cold winter, it stands tall and green, calm and flexible. It lives in harmony with the changing seasons. Like bamboo, your mind can learn to bend without breaking, to hold steady without becoming rigid. In this way, you will find that your decisions no longer become a source of suffering. You will not need to change your mind again and again. Instead, you will feel a deep calm. Your heart will rest and trust. Your steps will be firm on the path. This middle way is not just about decisions. It is a way to live your life. It asks you to be both strong and gentle, clear and open, sure and willing. It asks you to honor your own truth while respecting the truth of others. This is the wisdom of balance, the way of the awakened mind. Many people live in extremes. They're caught in the struggle between holding on and letting go. This struggle is tiring and painful. The middle way invites you to rest. It invites you to see that strength and softness can live together. It invites you to stand firm in your choices, yet flow like water when needed. The path of the middle way is not easy. It requires courage to look honestly at yourself and your fears. It requires patience to practice again and again. But it also offers great freedom, the freedom from being chained to doubt, the freedom to live fully with confidence. So, when you face a decision next time, pause. Take a deep breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Remember the middle way. Make your choice with a quiet heart. Stand by it with gentle strength. And be open to the wisdom that comes with time. You're not alone on this path. Every being who seeks peace walks this way. The Buddha walked this way, teaching us to find the middle path between extremes. The monks who have practiced for many years show us how to be firm without being harsh, how to listen without being weak. In your daily life, you can bring this teaching into every moment. When a thought of doubt arises, watch it like a passing cloud. When a feeling of stubbornness pulls at you, soften your grip. The middle way is a dance, sometimes forward, sometimes back, always balanced. Your mind is like a boat on the river. If you row too hard on one side, the boat tips and you may fall in. If you do not row at all, the boat drifts away. The middle way is the gentle, steady rowing that keeps you on course. It is the wisdom that guides you safely to shore. Remember, friend, that a decision made from fear is a seed of suffering. A decision made from anger is a storm that leaves you lost. But a decision made from middle way is a flower that blooms in peace. It grows roots deep into the earth, holding you steady no matter the weather. The mind that follows the middle way learns to trust itself. It learns that mistakes are not failures, but lessons. It learns that changing a decision is not weakness, but sometimes necessary. But it also learns the power of standing firm when the truth is clear. This balance brings freedom from regret. It brings freedom from the endless loop of what if. It brings freedom from the heavy burden of uncertainty. This is the gift of the middle way, quiet strength, gentle clarity, peaceful confidence. So, practice this way in your heart. Notice when you feel pulled by doubt or stubbornness. Bring your attention back to the middle. Let your mind be like the calm lake, the bending bamboo, the steady boat. Let your decisions be rooted in this wisdom. When you do, you will find your steps lighter, your heart calmer, and your mind clearer. You will no longer be tossed by every thought or fear. You will stand in the middle way, strong, flexible, and free. This is the way of the awakened one. This is the path of true confidence. This is the middle way. Imagine the quiet life of a Buddhist monk. From early dawn until nightfall, their days are filled with simple routines, walking slowly, meditating deeply, working with mindful attention. They do not rush or fret. They do not change their mind often. This calm comes not from luck, but from a deeply trained mind, a mind that knows how to stay firm and clear. When you watch a monk, you see a person who has learned the art of decision. Not the kind of decision that is loud or hurried, but a decision rooted in calmness and deep understanding. This is not a secret reserved for monks alone. This is a teaching available to anyone willing to listen, to anyone who wants to live without being tossed around by doubt and fear. How do monks grow this inner strength? They start by accepting one simple truth. The mind is often like the ocean in a storm. Waves rise, fall, and crash, but the deep ocean beneath remains still. If you focus only on the waves, you feel chaos. But if you learn to dive beneath, you find a stillness that is unshaken. In the monastery, monks practice mindfulness. Mindfulness means paying full attention to the present moment, without judging or pushing away what is happening. When a monk feels a thought like, "I'm unsure," or "maybe I made a mistake," they notice it without fear. They watch it pass like clouds across the sky. They don't chase the thought or push it away. This simple act of watching the mind allows the monk to become free from the noise inside. From this freedom comes a powerful decision. When the mind is clear and calm, the decision is not based on fear, doubt, or confusion. It arises naturally, like a flower blooming when it is ready. Because the decision is not forced or rushed, it holds firm. The monk does not feel the need to change it again and again. You may ask, but how can I live like this? I'm not a monk. I have a busy life, worries, family, and work. The answer is this. The monk's practice is not about escaping life. It is about facing life with clear eyes. The same mindfulness you see in monks can be practiced by anyone. You don't need to leave your home or your responsibilities. You only need to begin paying attention. Start simply. When you wake up, take a moment to breathe. Feel the air entering your lungs. Feel your body waking. This small act begins training your mind to be present. When you face a decision, instead of rushing or panicking, take a breath and notice how your mind reacts. Are you calm, or are you full of worries? If worries come, watch them like a monk watches clouds. The more you practice this, the stronger your mind becomes. The stormy waves of doubt lose power. You will find that decisions come with less struggle. You won't need to change your mind as often because the mind is more steady. This steadiness is like a rock in a rushing river. It may be surrounded by rushing water, but it remains unmoved. Monks also remind us that decisions do not have to be perfect. They simply have to be made with clarity and honesty. If you choose with care, based on your true values and awareness, even if the outcome is not perfect, your mind will remain peaceful. Changing your mind often comes from fear of failure or wanting control over everything. But the monk teaches acceptance of imperfection and of the flow of life. This does not mean you become passive or careless. On the contrary, the monk's mind is very active, but in a gentle, patient way. They carefully observe the situation, gather information with attention, and then let the decision arise naturally. The difference is they do not panic or feel forced. This gentle strength is the secret. One story from Zen tradition shows this well. A monk was once asked by a student, "How do you know if a decision is right?" The monk smiled and said, "When the wind blows, the bamboo bends but does not break." This means that a strong decision is flexible like bamboo. It stands firm, but it can adjust if needed, without losing its root. In your own life, think of your decisions like bamboo. Stand firm in what you believe is right, but be willing to learn and grow. Do not rush to change your mind every time a small wind of doubt blows. Practice patience. Practice calm. Practice presence. Monks also live simply, without distraction. They avoid clutter, both outside and inside the mind. When your mind is full of noise, worries, distractions, regrets, it becomes harder to hold a steady decision. But when your mind is clear, the path becomes visible. Buddhism teaches that simplicity is a path to wisdom. You do not need to complicate your choices with endless what-ifs. Another important lesson for monks is patience with yourself. If you find yourself changing your mind often, do not judge yourself harshly. The mind is like a child learning to walk. You will stumble and fall. Be kind to yourself. Recognize each moment of doubt as an opportunity to practice calm and return to your center. Monks use meditation to strengthen this kindness and patience. Sitting quietly each day, focusing on the breath, they learn to meet their own thoughts with acceptance. You can do the same, even for a few minutes. The breath is always with you, like an old friend reminding you to come back home, to your own heart. Through this practice, you build what monks call right effort. This means putting in steady, gentle work to keep your mind clear and your heart strong. Right effort is not forceful or harsh. It is like tending a garden, watering the plants, removing weeds carefully, and allowing flowers to bloom in their own time. When your mind becomes a garden, your decisions grow naturally and healthily. You do not need to uproot and replant every day. You simply nourish what is already there and trust the process. In this way, the monk's life is a beautiful example of how decision-making can become a quiet, natural art. It is not about controlling every outcome or never making mistakes. It is about learning to listen deeply, choose wisely, and accept fully. So, take this teaching into your life. When you face a choice, pause, breathe, watch your mind like a monk. Notice the waves, but dive deep into the stillness beneath. Let your decision grow from that complex. This is the path of inner strength, the path of the peaceful mind. When you live this way, changing your decision becomes unnecessary. Your choices become like the steady bamboo, rooted, flexible, and true. This is the wisdom woven through the lives of monks, waiting for you to embrace it. Step by step, breath by breath, may you find your mind's quiet strength and let it guide your life with gentle certainty. In the quiet moments, when the world is still, many hear two voices inside. The first voice is calm and clear. It speaks simply without fuss. It knows what is right. The second voice is louder, restless, and uncertain. It questions everything. It shakes the heart, and it whispers doubt. The human mind is like a busy marketplace. Many thoughts rush in and out, calling for attention. But among them, the second voice is the one that most disturbs peace. It repeats worries and what-ifs. It asks, did you make the right choice, or what if you are wrong? This voice never rests. It pulls you back from your decision, like a strong wind pulling a small boat off course. To live in peace, to stand firm in your decisions, you must learn to quiet this second voice. But how? Many try to push it away with force or anger. That only makes the voice louder. Instead, the answer is gentle, like water flowing around a stone. Begin by watching this second voice. Notice how it sounds in your mind. Do not fight it. Do not run from it. Simply observe it. As a passerby watches a cloud float by, you will find a voice is only a sound, not a command. It has no power unless you listen to it. When a second voice speaks, do not answer immediately. Give yourself time. Breathe deeply. Let the mind settle like dust falling on the ground. When the dust clears, the voice loses its urgency. The practice of meditation is the path to mastering this inner dialogue. Meditation is not about stopping thoughts completely. It is about creating space between you and your thoughts. When you meditate, you learn to see your mind's chatter without becoming trapped by it. As a Zen master, I tell you, the second voice is like a monkey jumping in the trees. It is always moving, restless, and noisy. But you're not the monkey. You are the watcher, the calm sky above the trees. In the stillness of meditation, you come to understand that this second voice often arises from fear and habit. It is the mind's way of protecting you from pain or failure. But many times, it is also a liar, telling stories that keep you stuck in doubt. With practice, the voice grows quieter. You become stronger. Your heart is no longer pulled like a leaf in the wind. You learn to trust your first voice, the voice of clarity and truth. One day, you will make a decision and feel peace with it. The second voice may still speak, but it will be soft, like a distant echo. It will no longer have the power to shake you. In daily life, this practice means you will pause before reacting to your thoughts. When fear or doubt arises, you will greet it kindly, like an old friend who has lost his way. You will not let this friend take the wheel of your mind. This is not easy at first. The mind loves to wander, to worry, to question. But like training a young tree to grow straight, patience and gentle effort are needed. Each day, your practice will deepen. Your inner space will grow larger. As your mental discipline strengthens, you find more calm in every decision. You no longer feel trapped by second-guessing or regret. Instead, you stand like a mountain, steady, unshaken by passing storms. Remember, this is a journey. No one becomes free of the second voice overnight. Even great masters face their doubts. What matters is how you respond. When a second voice comes, greet it with awareness, not fear. Let your mind be like a clear lake. When the wind blows, the surface ripples. But below, the water remains still. Meditation is the tool to reach this stillness. In the still lake of your mind, decisions are not pushed or pulled by restless thoughts. They are seen clearly, like stones at the bottom of the water. You choose from that clarity. Over time, this practice changes how you live. You become less anxious. Your mind rests more easily. You see your life as it is, not as the stories the second voice tells you. And in this peace, the power to decide well grows. You do not fear mistakes because you understand the nature of change. You trust your inner wisdom, which rises when the mind is calm. When the second voice tries to pull you back, you smile inwardly. You know it is only a voice. It does not hold your fate. You remember the Buddha's teaching. Do not believe in anything simply because you have heard it. Do not believe in traditions because they have been handed down from many generations. Do not believe in anything because it is spoken and rumored by many. Do not believe in anything because it is written in your religious books. Do not believe in anything merely on the authority of your teachers and elders. But after observation and analysis, when you find that anything agrees with reason and is conducive to the good and benefit of one and all, then accept it and live up to it. In this way, your decisions arise not from the noisy second voice, but from clear understanding. You are free. So, when you next hear the second voice inside you, do not run. Do not resist. Welcome it with calm awareness. See it for what it is, a passing cloud in the vast sky of your mind. Breathe deeply, return to the present moment, and allow your true clarity to shine. This is the art of silencing the second voice. This is the heart of mental discipline. And it is through this art that you will find the strength to hold your decisions firmly and live a life of peace and freedom. Listen carefully. Life moves like a river, sometimes calm, sometimes wild. We are carried by its current, often uncertain where it will take us. In this flow, making decisions can feel like trying to hold water in our hands. We grasp, but it slips away. The secret to never changing your decision again lies deep within the ancient wisdom of the Buddha, the Four Noble Truths. They're not just teachings, but a path to peace and steady mind. The first truth is simple. Life includes suffering. This is not to make us sad, but to help us see clearly. Suffering means dissatisfaction, pain, frustration, doubt. It is the reason we hesitate, the reason we change our mind. When we realize this truth, we stop blaming ourselves or others for feeling stuck. We understand that everyone experiences this. The second truth explains the cause of suffering: craving, clinging, and ignorance. Our mind wants something different from what is. It clings to hopes, fears, desires, and ideas of how life should be. This craving makes the mind restless. When we decide something, but our craving pulls us the other way, we feel confusion. We question ourselves. This is the root of indecision. The third truth gives hope. Suffering can end. If craving and ignorance can be quieted, the mind will settle like a still lake. When the water is clear, the reflection is true. In this state, decisions become clear and firm. We do not change our mind because we see deeply what is right, beyond wishful thinking or fear. The fourth truth is the path, the way to end suffering. It is called the Noble Eightfold Path. It teaches us how to live wisely, how to think clearly, how to act with kindness, and how to train a mind. Following this path helps us steady our decisions and live with courage and peace. Imagine a moment when you feel overwhelmed by doubt. Your heart pulls one way, your mind another. You wish you could be sure. The Buddha's teaching says, look deeply into your suffering. See the craving beneath your doubts. When you do this, the confusion slowly fades. The practice begins with awareness, being present with your thoughts and feelings without running away. When you make a decision, notice the fears and hopes that arise. Do not fight them. Do not follow them blindly. Just watch. This watching creates space between you and your restless mind. It is like sitting beside a wild horse. At first, it pulls, tries to run free. But with patience and calm, the horse learns to walk beside you peacefully. With time, the cravings lose their power. Your mind becomes like the sky, vast, clear, and unshaken by passing clouds. From this place, decisions arise naturally. You don't force them, you don't doubt them. They simply come from a deep knowing. When you practice this path, changing your decision again and again loses meaning. You see clearly what is helpful and true, and your heart aligns with your choice. There's another teaching that helps here: impermanence. Everything changes always. This might seem like a reason to doubt your decisions. But actually, understanding impermanence brings freedom. When you know nothing is fixed, you learn to hold your decisions lightly, yet firmly. This means your decision is not a chain that binds you. It is a flower you offer to the moment. You make it with care and then let it be. You do not cling so tightly that fear makes you change it again and again. Sometimes, people think changing their decision means growth or wisdom. But often, it is just the mind's fear of commitment, the desire to avoid discomfort. True wisdom is in making a decision with full attention and then walking forward without regret. When you walk this way, your steps are strong. Your heart is calm. You carry the power of the Four Noble Truths inside you, like a lamp in the dark. No wind can blow it out. This path is gentle, yet strong. It teaches patience for yourself and the world around you. It teaches compassion, especially for those moments when the mind is weak and doubts rise. Remember, the Buddha did not promise a life without difficulty. He showed a way to meet difficulty with clarity, to hold decisions steady, not by force, but by understanding. So, when you face a choice, remember these truths. Look deeply into your doubts and fears. See the craving that pulls you off balance. Breathe, watch, and let your mind settle. From that place of calm, make your decision once and hold it with gentle strength. This is the wisdom of the Four Noble Truths. It is the foundation of unshakable resolve. When you walk this path, you will find peace in your choices and freedom from the cycle of doubt. Keep practicing this awareness every day. Let it become your natural way of being. Over time, your decisions will no longer be storms. They will be rivers flowing steadily toward a clear destination. This is not a quick fix. It is a lifelong practice, a weaving of wisdom into every moment. But it is also the deepest freedom you can know, to decide once and live with that decision fully, peacefully, and wisely. Listen carefully. In the quiet moments, when the world outside softens, the mind begins to show its true nature. Meditation is not magic, nor is it escape. It is the gentle art of sitting with yourself, just as you are, and seeing clearly. When a mind is clouded by doubt, fear, and endless second-guessing, meditation shines a light. It reveals the restless thoughts for what they are, passing shadows on the wall. Many seek meditation as a tool to fix their problems, to find quick answers, or to calm a busy mind. But deeper than this, meditation is the practice of meeting uncertainty with stillness. When a decision weighs heavily on the heart, meditation teaches us to stop running. We learn to watch the mind's chatter without following it, like watching waves come and go without trying to stop them. Imagine sitting quietly, breathing in and out, and noticing the thoughts about your decision as if they were clouds in the sky. Some clouds are dark and stormy, filled with fear and doubt. Others are light and fleeting. You do not push them away. You do not hold on to them. You simply watch. This watching is the first step to peace. By practicing meditation regularly, the mind grows stronger and more stable. It learns to rest in the present moment, instead of chasing after every what if or maybe. This is not about forcing the mind to be silent, but about accepting it with gentle curiosity. When you accept the mind as it is, without judgment, the urge to change your decision again and again begins to soften. Each breath becomes an anchor, a simple point of return. When you feel yourself pulled into doubt, you bring your attention back to your breath. Slowly, with patience, the storms in the mind lose their power. You start to trust your original choice because you see it clearly, not through the fog of worry or regret. In Buddhist teachings, meditation is called mindfulness. It means being fully present with what is happening without resistance. When mindfulness deepens, decisions feel less like battles and more like gentle rivers flowing naturally. The mind no longer needs to struggle or resist. It learns to flow with life's changing currents. There is a story of a student who came to the Buddha, troubled and restless, unable to hold onto any decision. The Buddha said to him, "Sit still. Watch your mind. Do not run from your thoughts, but do not follow them blindly either." With time, the student learned that the mind is like a wild horse. Without training, it runs in every direction, but with patient practice, it becomes calm and steady. Meditation is that training. It is not about stopping thoughts, but learning to be with them without being carried away. When you meditate, you see your fears for what they are, temporary clouds passing through the vast sky of your mind. This insight brings freedom. When a mind is free, the heart feels steady. You no longer need to search for new answers every day. You begin to understand that the decision you made was not a trap, but a doorway to growth. Meditation shows you that changing your mind again and again only creates suffering, because it pulls you away from the peace already inside you. In the silence of meditation, you meet yourself deeply. You meet your doubts, your fears, and your hopes. You do not run. You do not hide. You embrace all parts of yourself with kindness. This kindness is the foundation of true resolve. When your heart is kind, your mind becomes clear. Meditation also reveals the truth of impermanence. All things change. Your thoughts, feelings, and even your decisions are not fixed stones, but flowing water. When you see this, the need to cling or to constantly change softens. You learn to hold your decisions lightly but firmly, knowing that true strength comes from flexibility and acceptance. It is common to feel that meditation is hard, especially at first. The mind may race, memories may flood in, and distractions may seem endless. This is natural. The path of meditation is not about perfection. It is about returning again and again, like a gentle wave washing over the shore. With each practice, the mind rests a little deeper. You begin to notice a quiet center inside you, a place untouched by fear or doubt. This center is your true self, the part that knows peace beyond all changing thoughts. From this center, decisions become clear, steady, and unshakable. Meditation also teaches patience. You cannot force your mind to be still or your heart to be sure. But with gentle practice, you build trust in yourself. You learn that every moment is new, and every breath is an opportunity to return to calm. When you bring this calmness in your daily life, you find that decisions no longer feel like storms. Even when life is uncertain, you stand firm, because your foundation is not in circumstances but in your steady mind. In this way, meditation is not separate from life, it is life itself. Each moment you are alive is a chance to practice being present, to meet your fears, to embrace your decisions, and to return to peace. When you face your choices with this peaceful mind, you no longer need to change your decisions again and again. You become like a tree rooted deep in the earth, bending with the wind but never breaking. This rootedness is the fruit of meditation, a calm, clear mind that holds steady no matter what life brings. You learn to trust your inner wisdom, the quiet voice beneath the noise. And so, the practice of meditation is the practice of learning to trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the moment, and trust in the flow of life. This trust is the unshakable resolve that Buddhism invites us to cultivate. Remember, the journey is gentle and gradual. Each moment spent in meditation is a step toward the peace that comes when your mind rests in clarity and your heart rests in kindness. In time, you will find that your decisions hold their ground, not because you fight for them, but because they grow naturally from your clear and calm mind. Meditation is the key that unlocks this quiet strength. It teaches us to be with ourselves fully, to watch the mind's dance without fear, and to rest deeply in the present. When your mind is still and your heart is steady, you no longer need to change your decisions again. You walk your path with confidence, peace, and grace. So return to your breath. Sit quietly. Watch your thoughts with gentle eyes. In this simple practice lies the secret of unshakable resolve. The peace you seek is already within you, waiting to be uncovered, one breath at a time. Facing external influence, compassionate detachment. You've made a decision. It felt right. It came from a place of calm and clarity. But then, someone says something. Someone close to you. Their tone carries doubt. Their words echo in your head. Are you sure? And slowly, that old cloud begins to form again. This happens to so many people, especially those who care deeply about others. We often let other voices become louder than our own inner knowing. We seek approval, not because we are weak, but because we are human. We want to belong. We want peace with those we love. But in this effort, we sometimes lose peace with ourselves. Buddhism teaches us something gentle, yet powerful. It is possible to love others deeply and still not follow every word they say. It is possible to be kind and still firm. The middle path is not about choosing people or solitude. It is about walking with wisdom between both. You see, influence from others is not a problem by itself. It becomes a problem when we forget who we are, when we begin to doubt what we know to be true. The Buddha encouraged mindful listening, but he never said we must obey every voice. He said, be a lamp unto yourself. This means, when the world grows dark, don't wait for someone else to carry a light for you. Carry yourself. Imagine this. You decide to stop working a job that brings you stress and no joy. A friend says, that's a mistake. Think about your age, your responsibilities, your future. Suddenly, your confidence shakes. But who is living your life? Who wakes up every morning and carries your burdens? Only you. You must decide from your truth, not from someone else's fear. This does not mean you must argue or convince others. Detachment does not mean coldness. In Zen, we say, detach not from the person, but from the reaction. That means you hear them. You nod. You may even thank them. But inside, you stay rooted. You do not let their opinion become your direction. Many elders feel this struggle deeply. Children may suggest a different way. Friends may worry and advise against the chosen path. But the wisdom of age is not something to be discarded so easily. You've walked through decades of change, loss, joy, and learning. Trust the still voice that rises from that long journey. In Buddhist practice, monks often train in noble silence. It is not just silence of speech, but silence of reaction. When someone disagrees or challenges them, they listen, but they do not allow their hearts to be stirred like water in a bowl. They stay still. They reflect, and then they return to their path. If you feel pushed or pulled by others' expectations, gently return to the breath. The breath is always yours. It belongs to no one else. Inhale slowly, feel your body soften. Exhale and let go of the need to please. With every breath, you remember, clarity lives inside, not outside. Sometimes, People will not understand your choice. That is okay. Understanding is a gift, not a demand. You do not need to force it. Instead, walk your path with kindness. Let your peace be your message. Over time, people will see the results of your decision, and some may even find courage in it. Compassionate detachment is this: to walk in love, but not in dependence. To care deeply, but not collapse your truth to keep others comfortable. In Buddhism, we call this upekkha, equanimity. It is the ability to remain centered even in the winds of praise or blame. It is not hardness, but balance. When someone's opinion makes you hesitate, pause. Ask yourself, is this fear or wisdom speaking? Wisdom feels clear and spacious, even when it's firm. Fear feels tight, noisy, and urgent. Learn to tell the difference. That is freedom. External influence loses power when you begin to see it clearly. It's not the words of others that shake you. It's your inner reaction to those words. And reactions can be trained. The mind, like the body, becomes strong with practice. You don't need to cut off anyone to stay true to yourself. Just listen with soft ears and a strong spine. Smile gently and walk on. When needed, speak with care. Say, I appreciate your concern. I thought deeply about this. I trust where I'm going. These simple words carry great weight when said with calm conviction. Some people may insist. Some may pressure. Not out of harm, but out of habit or fear. Don't judge them. Just return to your center. In Zen, we speak of returning to the mountain. The mountain is unshaken by the wind. Be the mountain. Let the winds of opinion pass through you, not into you. As you keep choosing from clarity, the outside world begins to notice. People start to respect your stillness. They may not always agree, but they'll feel the steadiness in you. That steadiness is rare in this world and is deeply magnetic. You don't need to explain everything. Explanation is often a way to seek approval. Instead, live your truth so quietly and fully that it becomes its own explanation. A tree does not argue why it grows upward. It just does. Every time you let another's doubt shake your path, you are teaching yourself that your voice matters less. But every time you return to your decision with peace and kindness, you are building trust in yourself. That trust is worth more than any praise. Remember, your path may not be perfect. No decision is without risk. But it is better to walk a slightly crooked path that is your own than to follow a straight one that leads you away from yourself. And you'll notice, once you stop seeking constant approval, the noise quiets down. Not just outside, but inside too. This is the beauty of compassionate detachment. It allows you to love fully, listen openly, and still remain anchored in your deepest knowing. It is not easy at first, but with practice, it becomes your natural way. You will no longer fear disagreement. You will no longer panic when someone says you might be wrong, because you'll know you are not choosing from pride. You are choosing from presence. Keep returning to that presence, again and again. That is the way of Zen. That is the way of peace. The impermanence paradox, deciding in a changing world. Sit with me. Breathe slowly. Let the world be quiet for just a little while. Now listen closely, not with the ears, but with the heart. Everything changes. That is not a belief. That is not an idea. It is the truth. The seasons change. The body changes. Feelings rise and fall like waves. People come and go. Health, wealth, happiness, they all move like clouds in the sky. Nothing stays the same, not even your thoughts. You may believe one thing this morning and something else by nightfall. And yet, in this changing world, you are told to decide firmly, to make a choice and not turn back. So you ask, how can I stand firm in a world that is always moving? That's a good question, a wise question, a question only someone who is paying attention would ask. And this is where the paradox lives. Yes, everything changes, but not everything changes at the same speed. The mountain is not the same as the river. The mind is not the same as the truth within the heart. When you make a decision from a place of deep understanding, not from fear, not from anger, not from pressure, but from clarity, that decision carries a different weight. Is not made to please others. Is not made to escape pain. Is made in peace. In Buddhism, we call this prajna, Wisdom that comes from stillness and insight, not from reaction, not from habit. And when you choose from that still place, the decision stays, even while the world around you shifts. The problem many people face, especially as they grow older, is they expect the world to be like a rock, something to hold on to. But the Buddha taught that the world is more like water. You can't hold it still. You can only learn how to float, how to breathe, how to move with it without drowning in it. So then, how do you stay steady in your decision while everything moves? You must first accept that the world will never stop moving. That alone brings a great calm. When you expect life to be unchanging, every change feels like a mistake. But when you understand impermanence, you stop fighting the flow. Let's say you made a choice to retire early. You thought it was the right thing. Then, after a few weeks, the mind says, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I should go back. But is it the same you speaking now? Or is it the mind reacting to a moment of fear or boredom? Buddhism invites you to watch the mind, not to obey it. Just watch, like watching a bird land and then fly away again. If you made your decision with peace, let the restless thoughts pass. They do not always tell the truth. Let's take another example. You decide to forgive someone who hurt you long ago. It brings you relief. Then one day, the memory returns with pain, and suddenly you question your forgiveness. But that pain does not mean the forgiveness was wrong. It simply means the wound is healing. Healing is not a straight path. You do not change the medicine just because the body aches for a moment. You trust the medicine. You trust the decision. This is how you hold a steady course in a moving world. You do not demand the world to stop. You anchor yourself in awareness. There's an old Zen saying, "You cannot stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." This is not a clever quote. It is a deep teaching. Because when you make a firm decision, the waves will still come. Distractions will rise. Opinions will pull. Doubts will whisper. But if you remember why you chose, if you stay connected to that clear, deep reason, then your decision will stand, even as the winds blow. Buddhist monks practice this every day. They wake, they sit, they bow, they eat in silence. The world around them changes, the weather, the sounds, the visitors. But their steps do not waver, because their minds are not tied to outer change. In your life, you don't need to live in a monastery, but you can live with that kind of awareness. The key is not to avoid change. The key is to understand which part of you is unmoved by change. There's a place inside, call it the still lake, the quiet candle, the observing mind. When you make a decision from that place, it doesn't matter if the winds howl or the roads twist. That decision stays. It does not mean the decision will always be easy. It may bring challenge. But ease and truth are not always the same. Sometimes the most peaceful path is also the hardest one to walk. But it is yours. And when you walk your own path with steadiness, something strange begins to happen. The world still moves, yes, but it moves around you, not through you. You become like the mountain again. So remember, everything changes. The weather changes. People change. Circumstances change. But wisdom remains. Awareness remains. And the decisions made from that awareness can become your greatest strength. You may look back and smile at all the times you almost turned away. You may feel grateful for the quiet courage that helped you stay. And when someone comes to you, perhaps a friend, perhaps a child, perhaps even your own heart, and asks, "How do I stay true when everything around me is moving?" You'll have your answer. You'll say, "Everything moves." That's true, but I've learned to listen deeper. I've learned not to follow every wave. I made this choice from stillness, not fear. And that's why I'm not changing it. That is what it means to live wisely in an impermanent world. Sit with that. Let's settle. We will walk further together. In the quiet moments of dawn, before the world stirs to its usual noise, the true test of our decisions begins. Decisions are not like stone statues set in place forever. They're living things like a seed that needs tending. If we do not care for them daily, they fade, forgotten in the chaos of life. To live a decision fully means to return to it, again and again, with awareness and care. When a decision is made with true clarity, it creates a gentle energy within the mind. This energy is not forceful or harsh. is steady and calm, like the steady flow of a river that moves without rushing. To keep this energy alive, one must practice commitment every day. Commitment is not punishment or obligation. It is love for the choice made. It is the kindness we show to ourselves by honoring what we have chosen. Many people believe that making a decision is the hardest part, but the real difficulty lies in living that decision when distractions pull us away, when doubts whisper in the silence, and when the mind grows tired. The Buddhist teachings remind us that life is a continuous practice. Just as a farmer returns to his fields each morning, so too must we return to our decision, nurturing it patiently. Each day, when you rise, take a moment to remember the decision you made. Feel in your body, not as a heavy burden, but as a quiet strength. This moment of remembrance is like watering the seed. It tells your mind, this choice is important. I choose it again. This simple act begins to build a path inside your heart that grows stronger with each step. In Zen practice, this is called mindfulness. Mindfulness means being fully present with what is, without pushing it away or grabbing too tightly. When you live your decision with mindfulness, it becomes part of your daily rhythm. You begin to see clearly what helps you keep your choice and what pulls you away from it. There will be days when you feel uncertain. This is natural. Even the most committed person has moments of doubt. But in those moments, do not fight yourself. Instead, breathe deeply. Observe the doubt like a cloud passing in the sky. It comes and it goes. Do not let the cloud cover the sun inside you. The sun is your true decision, steady, warm, and bright. Remember, the Buddhist path teaches us about impermanence. Nothing stays the same, not even our feelings or thoughts. When you live your decision daily, you do not hold on to it like a rigid rule. You allow it to flow and change in harmony with life's currents. Yet, the core of your choice remains solid, like the roots of a tree deep in the earth. When challenges come, and they will, your daily practice will be your refuge. The world may push you in many directions, but your commitment is a quiet voice reminding you who you truly are. It is the voice that says, I am the master of my mind. I am the keeper of my peace. Sometimes, living a decision means saying no to old habits or to people who wish to pull you back into confusion. It means standing calmly, even when others do not understand. This courage is not loud or proud. It is the silent power of the bamboo that bends but does not break. It is the gentle strength that comes from deep within. As you continue this practice, you will notice your mind becoming clearer. The chatter of what if and maybe grows quieter. You find joy not in perfection, but in the steady unfolding of your choice. This joy is simple and free. It comes from knowing that each day you return to what you have truly chosen. Living your decision daily is a gift to yourself. It honors the wisdom you have gained and the courage it took to decide. It also respects the journey ahead. Life will continue to change, and so will you. But by practicing commitment, you create a foundation that supports you through all seasons. The Buddha said, a jug fills drop by drop. Each small act of commitment is a drop that fills the jug of your life. Do not underestimate these small acts. They carry the power to transform uncertainty into peace, fear into confidence, and hesitation into action. In this way, every moment becomes an opportunity to live your decision fully. When you walk, walk with awareness. When you speak, speak with intention. When you rest, rest with peace. Each breath is a chance to affirm your choice, to hold it gently, to live it deeply. The path is not always easy, but it is always rewarding. Like the lotus flower that rises from the mud to bloom in the sun, your decision can bring beauty from the soil of your daily life. This beauty is not for others to see. It is for you to feel in the quiet places of your heart. So, commit to your decision with kindness. Be patient with yourself when a mind wanders. Gently bring it back, like a gardener tending to a beloved garden. Over time, your life will reflect the peace of your steady choice. You will find that you do not need to change your decision again, because you live it with wisdom and care. This is the art of living well. This is the practice of an awakened mind. This is how a decision becomes not a burden, but a blessing. The enlightened resolve, final integration and lifelong wisdom. To truly understand the power of never changing your decision again, one must look deeply into the nature of the mind and the way life unfolds. This is not a simple task, and it is not a sudden magic. It is a gentle unfolding, like the petals of a lotus flower opening slowly, naturally, in the morning sun. Life is always moving, always changing. Nothing stays the same. This is a teaching the Buddha gave us long ago, the teaching of impermanence. Everything we see, feel, and think is like a river, flowing without stopping. Because of this, we often think we must hold tightly to our decisions, afraid that if we let go, we will be swept away by the current. But the true strength is not in tight grasping. The true strength is in a calm mind that accepts change and still stands firm in its resolve. When the mind is calm, it sees clearly. It sees that decisions are not walls to trap us, but rather bridges to walk on. The bridge must be strong enough to hold us steady, but flexible enough to move with the wind and the water below. This is the nature of enlightened resolve, a balance between firmness and softness, between knowing and letting go. Imagine a tree standing tall through the seasons. In the spring, it grows new leaves. In the winter, it sheds them. Yet, its roots hold deep in the earth, strong and steady. So too is our decision. Though the world around us may change, our roots in wisdom keep us grounded. To live with enlightened resolve means to bring the light of awareness to every choice. It means to decide once with full attention, with full presence, not rushing, not doubting, but with gentle certainty. Then, after the decision is made, to let it be. Not to return again and again to ask, did I make the right choice? But to trust the process and the path that unfolds. Trust is the heart of this teaching. Trust in yourself. Trust in your own wisdom. Trust in the flow of life. When you trust, fear loses its power. Doubt no longer clutches at your mind. You become free. This freedom is not about never making mistakes. No one escapes mistakes. Even the Buddha made mistakes. The difference is in how we meet them. When we meet a mistake with kindness, with learning, and with calm, we do not lose ourselves. We grow. Remember, the mind that jumps from decision to decision is restless and unsettled. The mind that rests in resolve is like the still surface of a clear pond, reflecting the sky. It does not worry about the ripples. It watches them and lets them pass. This practice, this way of being, requires patience. It requires compassion for yourself. It requires understanding that life's storms will come, but your center can remain steady. Like the ocean, deep and vast, holding space for waves to rise and fall without losing its depth. You are not alone on this path. The wisdom of the Buddha, the lessons of the monks and sages, the stories of those who have walked before you, all support your journey. They remind you that every step matters, every breath matters. To never change your decision again does not mean to be stubborn or closed. It means to be wise, to see clearly, choose wisely, and stand peacefully with your choice. This peace is a gift you give to yourself. As you move forward, carry this truth in your heart. Every moment is a new chance to practice. Every day is a new opportunity to deepen your resolve. And in this practice, you will find freedom. Freedom from doubt, freedom from regret, freedom from the endless back and forth that drains your spirit. When your mind is settled, your heart is calm, and your actions flow naturally from this place of clarity, you live with integrity. Your decisions become expressions of your true self, steady and unwavering. So, take a deep breath now. Feel the weight of your body, the rhythm of your breath. Know that here and now is the perfect place to begin again, this time with a heart full of trust and a mind full of peace. Thank you for walking this path with us. May your journey be gentle, may your decisions be clear, and may your life be filled with quiet joy and steady resolve. If this journey has touched your heart, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to Wisdom Woven. Your support helps us continue sharing these teachings. And we invite you to share your thoughts below, so we can grow together in wisdom and peace. Walk gently, friend, with steady steps and open heart. The way is always here.